Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. This is my first video of the new year, and it's going to be about making social mistakes, how I've dealt with them, and how I'm starting to cope with them. So let's get started. Making social mistakes is something that we all deal with as humans, whether you be neurodivergent like me, I'm on the autism spectrum, or not. It's just something that can be relatable to us all. And a lot of people, say, oh, you shouldn't make the same mistake twice in life. But when it comes to social mistakes, making the same social mistake multiple times, it can happen. And what I'm learning is that we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves for it because we're human. We're not robots. We're not perfect. We're human beings. And human beings can make the same social mistake multiple times. And, I think being neurodiverse, especially, it can be a little extra hard for me. But it's something that I'm learning as I'm growing to kind of see as just part of the struggles, and it just kind of adds to my resilience. Um, it's not easy. It's not easy to look back and say, "Oh, I made the same mistake when I was 17 that I'm making as I am as 34 or 35." And in my case, again, I've made so many social mistakes, countless things that I'm not even proud of saying on YouTube, and I wish I was, because I really would want to be that transparent, but I do feel a little bit ashamed still, but not as bad as I once did. So I think, making social mistakes at the end of the day is just a part of life. And it's something that we just have to deal with and learn from and move forward from. I came up with some strategies that I've been using recently to help me cope, and I want to share them with everyone on here. So, my apologies if I'm looking down. I have them written on my computer screen. So, let me get to the first strategy that I have written here, and it's reflecting without judgment. So, instead of criticizing myself, I, I think it's best to take a step back and kind of say, what's happening here? Is this mistake tied to anything specific? And I want this reflection to kind of be more so of understanding what's happening without sort of the judgment to go with it, if that makes sense. So no biases or anything like that. Just kind of like that raw honesty, is this tied to anything? What is the meaning of this mistake? Kind of just understanding it at its core with no biases attached to it. I think that's really helpful. The second thing I have written here is reframing the mistake as kind of data or information to keep in my, I would say, internal filing cabinet or whatever you would say. So each time a mistake happens, just not see it as a failure, but kind of information to store away. Think of it as kind of feedback from the world, and it kind of shows you that room for growth. There's no point in labeling yourself as bad or broken or messed up. Just kind of see it as a snapshot that you could file away and kind of put in that maybe growth filing cabinet, if that makes sense. And the third thing I have here is focus on the small changes that you can make. I think that's really, really, really important. When you focus on the small changes, it doesn't mean that you're transforming overnight. You're making those small footsteps towards, changing and growing. Small footsteps. It's baby steps. Progress to being the ideal version of yourself will never happen overnight. It just can't, because again, we're human. We're not robots. So I think, think of one little thing that you want to start implementing, whether it be pausing before you're speaking or mindfulness during a heavy conversation. Think of that one small thing that you can implement to help yourself in tough situations. So let's see here. Oh, the next strategy I have is talk about it. And when you talk about it, sharing your struggles with someone, it can definitely be powerful because you can get new perspectives. And it can really, lighten that emotional load that's within you. It could be a friend, a mentor, or even, a therapist. I have a really great therapist that I truly love. But, being open about it, it definitely does help you internally, and it can make you feel less alone because a lot of people can relate. And you might not have any clue that they can relate, but when you're open and you're vulnerable, a lot of people really do appreciate that. I would say most people out there. So, having someone that can be in a good ear for you to speak to can be very impactful, for sure. And the last one I have written here is practice self compassion. When we practice self compassion, it can be a game changer for real. It's definitely started to help me a lot. Um, you know, Mistakes do not define you. They don't at all. They really, really, really don't. And it doesn't matter how many times you've made the same social mistake. It you know, you're human. You're not perfect. Give yourself grace. Give yourself that compassion. Um, you know, they're part of being imperfect. I mean, that's really what mistakes are. We're imperfect. We're unpolished. We're humans. It happens. I think really one of the most important things that you can do is talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend. And just take a moment to say to yourself, if a friend came to me with X, Y, and X, Y, and Z can be the struggles that you're facing socially, I wouldn't judge them. I would support them and I would understand them and I would show them the compassion that they need and be, kind to them and be a good friend. So do that to yourself. Be your own best friend. I know people say at the end of the day, you are your own best friend, and it's true. We are our own best friends. So give yourself that compassion. Give yourself that love. Give yourself, that kindness that you deserve. And, there is power in kindness, like my hoodie says. So it all ties in together at the end of the day. And yeah, I don't have any more strategies here, but I just wanted to speak from the heart, be open and honest about something that has been really impactful in my life, social mistakes, making them again and again and again and at different stages of my life. But I'm only human. We're only human. We're not perfect. And all we can do is just grow from the experiences and learn and not be so hard on ourselves and show us that love that we deserve, because we are all beautiful, 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 unpolished people. We're not perfect, but we're so deserving of that love and that compassion and that kindness. So just, get it from within. That's really the first step. So thank you for listening.